Welcome back, viewers and subscribers. It's your girl, Star Flames, and we're back with another video. So, if you're new, you guys know the do. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on your notification bell, and join the family. While you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and help your girl out. Now guys, in this video, we're gonna talk about Jayz scoring another major legal victory over Tony Buzbee, exactly as I told you guys would happen last Friday. In case you haven't been keeping up with my channel, honey, you're missing out because my subbies can tell you guys in the comment section, I've been so accurate with predicting the outcome of these lawsuits. I guess it just comes naturally to me to see the next move. And last Friday, I did a video after I spoke about Tony Buzbee withdrawing from those lawsuits and his co-counsel, Miss Curis, getting in trouble with the court. I said Jayz will now have claims for the extortion claims to be put back into play against Buzbee, and that's literally what the court has ruled out today. And this is no one's doing but Tony Buzbee's, because it really shows you just how weak Tony Buzbee's handling of the entire situation is. So basically, Judge Epstein, and we're talking about the judge that is presiding on the lawsuit case against Tony Buzbee, wherein Jayz filed a lawsuit against Buzbee for $20 million. He's claiming defamation and extortion, because what Jayz is saying is that Tony Buzbee filed a lawsuit against him without doing his necessary investigations, and Jayz is saying only if Tony Buzbee had taken maybe 10 to 15 minutes, he would see that the inconsistencies are major red flag in order not to move forward with the case. And as such, Jayz filed that lawsuit. Also, in the demand letter that Tony Buzbee had sent to Jayz, it has some lies in it, and they were able to pick out those lies. That has been happening since the first ruling. So, pause of it. The first ruling where the judge said, listen, I don't see a promissory note in the demand letter. So as such, because I don't see where Buzbee has said to you, if you give me the money, I won't go to the police. So the judge is given examples, something like that would be like a promissory note. And promissory notes that are used in this sense is extortion. And the judge was saying he was not seeing that. However, the judge said the reason why the defamation claim would move forward is because after Buzbee, after it came out about the lawsuit and Buzbee is representing a client against Jayz, Buzbee said he was not going to name the person name until he has done thorough investigation. And within 24 hours of Buzbee saying that, someone on Twitter said, like they tagged Buzbee and said, I know you're talking about Jayz for sure. And Buzbee liked the comment. So the judge is saying it's giving actual malice of intent. Malice of intent is definitely defamation, and as such, the case can go forward. However, today in a new ruling, I told you guys this Friday, I want you guys to go back and watch that video that I did Friday about Buzbee and his co-counsel. Right? I said this means the court is going to put Buzbee's, not Buzbee, but Jayz's, extortion claims back into play, because when the judge had said, he's not going to move forward with the extortion claims in the last hearing, the judge said it still wasn't finalized, that he would not put it in there. However, Jayz has new evidence against Buzbee, and I know some of the new evidence that he has, and I'm going to tell you what some of those new evidence that he has is, because there are numerous inconsistencies in the lawsuit, okay? Because when Jane Doe had visit the Avalaw group, she basically gave Avalaw group, like, for example, she said, there was only two people there, right? But when she went over to Buzbee, she was like, oh, it is just an individual. But then they could see where the initial report that Ava Law Firm did, the number on the lawsuit that Buzbee did was more. So that is given the impression that Jane Doe was in fact pushed to tell a lie. Don't quote me on the number, but there was inconsistencies with the number of people. That was also one of the thing, not just that. With what is going on with Tony Buzbee, not having a pro act vice to submit the lawsuits against Jayz, it's definitely given an extortion claim. Like he did not follow all the legal protocols. What he did was an act of malice. It was a definite intent to put Jayz on blast, to humiliate Jayz without him, Tony Buzbee, taking the necessary steps to file the case against Jayz properly. So the judge is saying that Jayz has new evidence and it's going to go forward. And because of the new evidence, the extortion claim is now going to go forward. However, he's also still saying again, like what he said the last time, that is not finalized. So this means that Jayz would have to come really, really good, because the court is going to look over the information that Jayz's attorney has now submitted. And at first glance, the judge is saying, just by looking at what has been submitted here, definitely the extortion claim is going to go forward. So I believe what Alex Spiro did, he documented all the inconsistencies between Buzbee and Curis, how they filed those lawsuits, because it could be deemed as a malicious intent, because what Buzbee did, he should have known better. And that is definitely a malicious intent for you to inappropriately file and litigate, a lawsuit. I'm wondering if Jayz is going to drag Curis into this, because she also played her part in this. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to see if Curis is also dragged into this, because this would be really interesting. Not only that, Judge Epstein is also calling out the attorneys for writing press release and disguising them as relevant court declarations. So there were two press releases that was sent out, and it says specifically for the press, this is what the lawyer drafted up. It says, no, this is not a part of the decision written for the press. This is what many of the filings, have said in their caption for Carter, Pillinger declaration are inappropriate. So they gave information that was sent out to the press to say that the filing that Jayz did was inappropriate, right? The court would also feel that the declaration ought to be close to admissible as possible, and this does not cut it. So basically, they've been putting out, I'm going to include it in the video for you guys, they've been putting out information that appears as though it's coming from the court, but it's not, because they're saying Buzbee should have known better with doing these things. It's just a mess. I'm wondering how Buzbee has been handling and winning all the other lawsuits that he has been winning. And, the question arises, like, were those cases handled properly as well? Is it that the opposing attorneys against Buzbee on those cases were not paying attention? Because if Buzbee's repeated inaccuracies are so much, like at this point in time, it is extremely overwhelming. Consistently, he has given so many reasons for Jayz to use, claims against him. And I'm talking about his own actions, because I know the internet loves to say, oh, this one got paid off, that one got paid off. Like, people don't realize and understand that there are real occurrences in this case. So we know that people do get paid off for these things, but in this case, you can literally see Buzbee's actions in this. And as such, ain't nobody to be blamed but Mr. Buzbee himself. He basically did this to himself, because of he was too eager to get at Jay-Z. He felt as though it was like, I'm just assuming here, as though, oh, we can go after Jay-Z. And you know what is so unfortunate about this for Buzbee is the fact that people were on social media saying that this is his plan going forward before he actually put this plan into play. And that is somewhat telling you that if people on social media knew his move and knew his plan, then it ought to be something that was being discussed at some point in time, or it could be that someone was so good at figuring out how he goes about handling his cases, and as such, they could predict that he was going to name a celebrity that was not named alongside Diddy because he wants to get a settlement. These people have good money and he wants some of it. That is what social media had said before Buzbee named Jay-Z in the lawsuit. So when you hear these things, you have to wonder really, like, how did people know this, How did people come about this information? But guys, that's all I have to leave with you in this video. I'm going to come back and provide you with an update once an update is available. Peace.